Well, this is the last day of our tour of Egypt, and Nancy and Ricky we were just having a beer in the bar. We thought we'd get out, and there's a nice little seat in front of the Nile here, and it's a chance for me to sort of ask them how they thought. What? So my first question is, what do you reckon?
It's wonderful. Cairo, it's a very it's a place of contrast, isn't it?
Egypt is an experience.
Yes, you have, on the one hand, you have absolute beauty, like the Nile you can see behind you. And then on the other hand,
annoying little sods like that, yes. Yeah, how do you get on? I mean, the amount of harassment we've had is unbelievable.
The hassling is
part of it.
I mean, be a problem.
Yeah, it's no worse or no different from, say, Turkey or Tunisia. What I would say is that I don't think I'd ever bother with Sharm el Sheikh off the back of this, because I think you'd have all the hassle and none of the upside, because the upsides of being in Cairo and Luxor is the history and the culture, and that is priceless, absolutely priceless. I mean, to go into the Valley of the Kings and go into a tomb that's 4,000 years old and it looks like it's just been cracked open the day before.
Yeah. The history
It's
is
something,
amazing.
yeah, that's something that you have to experience, and the scale of the pyramids.
Really moves you seeing such old, ancient relics,
and
being in their presence.
Yeah, and such important sort of human achievements and human milestones, like the Tutankhamun's death mask is something.
That's awesome, isn't it?
It is. It's
iconic. I mean,
yeah,
we've had this discussion, wasn't it, about when you see the Mona Lisa, you think, oh well, yes, that's an icon or whatever, and, and a little bit disappointing. But when you see,
some people find it disappointing. I'm not one of them. I have to say, everyone says that. Oh, the Mona Lisa is so disappointing. I said, well, you may be. What they say about the Mona Lisa is when you stand before the Mona Lisa, it is not her being judged, it is you. And I think
the one thing about the Mona Lisa is you can't get up close to it.
You can't get up close.
When
we went to Paris, we didn't really get close to it. When I was as a child, I got up close to it. I found it quite moving, actually. But not as much as the pyramids. As soon as we got in, we were driving across Cairo, and I saw them in the distance through the haze. I just thought, oof, blimey! I've been fascinated by all this sort of thing since I was knee high to a grasshopper, and there they are, out in the distance, and it is
a dream come true.
Yeah, it was a very moving experience for me, actually, and so was the Valley of the Kings. With the heat, and the heat's not such a problem, but the hassle, it just detracts from it slightly. But there's no way of getting around that.
And it's such a poor country. That was quite a shock, the poverty, and you want to help them out. You want to give as much as you can, but they kind of make it difficult.
Yes, they do actually, because in getting to a point where they are giving you so much hassle, you think, well, I'd rather not come into contact with them. At least if you're in contact, you have the possibility that you're going to buy something, but you start begin to run from situations.
Well, that was it. There was many times when I probably would have bought a few knickknacks off them if they'd have just left me alone to look at what they were selling, rather than being right there in your face going, oh, good price. It's like, I can't even see what it is you're selling, mate.
Because the man who did your horse and cart ride, the Kalash ride this morning.
Well, you negotiated that and you did a sterling job. I was at the end of my tether by that point.
I handled that.
You did, you handled that perfectly
that was
well.
lovely.
That was,
Yeah, I had a great
that
time.
Was very nice.
Food and apple to the horse, so
yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, we had a Kalash up the
alongside the Nile.
Up the Corniche.
Yeah.
Yes, and the hotel where we're staying here is so close, you can see behind.
So just for the record, sum up what we've done, starting with Cairo.
Well, the first day we got a white knuckle ride taxi down to the Cairo Museum, which, as museums go, is rather disorganised, but we paid for a guide to, we chucked him a couple of quid.
You've got to, because there's no signs.
And he showed us the
things.
sort of salient points. One thing that struck me, apart from Tutankhamun's tomb, which is Tutankhamun's death mask, which is given, was the eyes of a lot of the statues are quartz with, I can't remember what other stones they are, but he shone a torch in them, and it's actually rather uncanny. Yes, it looks like there's a real person trapped inside the stone, and quite unnerving. Which I suppose was perhaps the effect they were going for. And then on day 2, we went out to the pyramids and stood on the Great Pyramid and took some photos and looked at the Sphinx. And then
So a photo. The guide who took us around really was a photo opportunity, wasn't it? I mean,
he was.
That's
the whole pyramids, which I swore I wasn't going to do because it's tacky. It's like leaning against. But you can't refuse the guy when he's saying, "No, stand up, put your hand out," and you just go, "No, I don't want to put my hand out." He's like, "Put your hand out." Okay, put my hand out.
And he turned a bit nasty at the end because we never actually agreed. And there's an unwritten law that we've now written. Which is
agree the price before you do anything,
and make sure it's 100% clear. It's Egyptian pounds. It's for the whole group. There's no.
They will try their luck with anything.
They will. I mean, I was dreading yesterday that the guide we had, who was great. We'll come to that. Galgea. We'll come to that. Then we came up to Luxor, and on the first day we did the Luxor.
Nearly missed the plane.
Did the Luxor temple. Didn't have a guide for that, but you don't really need a guide that much on a place like that, because like at the pyramids, all the guide really did was just point at things to take photos of. And I can point at things. I can say, "Well, look at that."
Yeah, I think
take a photo of that.
If we had had a guide in the temples, you would have found a lot more because they would have been able to point out to things on the reef. Just like when we did the Valley of the Kings yesterday. The guide there actually took us to the temple of Hatsu Chip Shop.
There's very few professional guides around. There's a lot
of chances.
Phony guides.
There's a lot of chances.
Make up the information basically.
But the guide we had yesterday, we did Valley of the Kings.
Oh, he was excellent.
Which was just unbelievable. I mean,
I
will take that with me the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, and the guide was excellent. And I was dreading that we'd get back to the hotel and he'd start going, "Oh well, you know, fuck you." But he
told us like it was.
He told like it was. He said, "Oh, you tip the driver if you want. 100's probably too much." But so we dropped a tip. He was very, very good. And then today, just a Kalesh ride into the Mummy Museum, and then back. And we've just been chilling out around the pool. And I think later on we're going for a felucca ride
on the Nile.
Yeah.
And
now I think our beers are getting warm.
I think they are. Yeah. Let's go and show them some attention.
We've got to get back to our beers.